Shalom, 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 Yasha'Allah. This your boy, Brother Shamwa Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson, your gifts are running out. Your gifts are running out. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have ruled well to the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. All right. Like I said, your gifts are running out. Okay. And as you see, there's a lot of changes going on, right? And you see one, the changes to the SNAP benefits, you know, and you had, folks getting on TikTok and YouTube, Eve, talking about how much SNAP benefits she's getting and this, that, and the other. Hey, well, the tides are turning. All right. So I want to play. Let's got a couple of videos. Lord's with us is edifying. So let's get into it. Okay. Fair use. Fair use.
States will have to start adjusting to changes to their SNAP benefits starting this Sunday.
Now, these federal changes are part of the Trump administration's One Big Beautiful Bill.
Tatiana Cash joins us live in studio this morning to break down these changes for us. So,
right, that big beautiful bill. All right, and everybody's gonna see how big and beautiful it is. All right, because all this stuff is now starting to kick in. All right, there's several different things that's starting to kick in now. All right, everybody was concerned about this, that, and the other, right? Now it's about to get tightened up. Okay, fair use, fair use.
Tiana, what can SNAP recipients expect with these changes?
Well, Sophia and Tim, under the new laws for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, work requirements have actually increased for thousands of recipients, and thousands more actually have been slashed from even qualifying for the benefits. Government officials are saying that these changes are going to help cut down on the abuse of the system. Now, originally, most adults 18 to 54 years old who don't have any minor children had to work at least 80 hours per month or be working towards a degree of some sort. But now those work hours are changing, plus adults 18 to 64 years old are required to work. Parents with children 14 or older and those who were covered underneath the Affordable Care Act's Medicaid.
Right, so if you see here, anyone ages 18 to 64 are required to work. New requirements for those with kids ages 14 or over. And it says eliminates exemptions for certain groups, right? I wonder who those certain groups are. Let's keep playing. Fair use, fair use.
Expansion now have new work guidelines. Also, able-bodied veterans, homeless individuals, and those transitioning out of the foster care system are no longer having benefit exemptions. Additionally, certain migrant groups who are in the U.S. legally will not be eligible for benefits.
So certain groups, certain immigrants will not be eligible for this benefit. All right, man. And it also said if you're homeless, basically the changes is you got to get a job. Right? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. All right. And they've been, and when you think about it, as they try to tighten up, on these gifts, that they've been given, right? You see what's going on. All right, let's keep playing fair use, fair use.
Station WKYC out there in Cleveland spoke with the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services Director Matt Dameschroeder about the new work requirements, and he said, quote, SNAP is a vital support, but it is designed to supplement income, not replace it. The most reliable path to long-term financial stability is through employment. A good job provides not only greater independence, but also a buffer against future disruptions to public assistance, end quote. Now, our sister
Basically, they're like, get a job, right? And now it's, you know, hey, if your kids are over 14 or above, right? The women, hey, you got to get out and get a job. If you're homeless, you got to go out and get a job, right? This is, you know, listen, you know, a lot of people, you see what's going on, okay? Keep playing fair use.
Up in Michigan, WZZM finds these changes will impact about 15% of Michiganders, and they anticipate it to be negative. Granted, though, these work requirements and exemptions are going to officially be implemented on Sunday, again, February 1st. However, SNAP recipients don't have to present their proof of job status until March 1st, so you still have some time. Tatiana Cash.
Right. So we see that. All right. So lacke, let's play another one. Fair use, fair use.
Good morning to you at home as well. There are 2 million Illinoisans who rely on SNAP benefits as we speak. That's roughly 1 in 6 residents. And the new requirements now extend to many others, including those experiencing homelessness and even veterans. In the past, they were exempt. So as of today, SNAP users without a disability who are between the ages of 18 to 64 must work or volunteer for at least 80 hours a month to qualify. Households with children under 14 years old are exempt.
You see that? 18 to 64. All right. Have to work or volunteer 80 hours. Households under 14 years old exempt, right? So if they're 14 and above, right, you're not exempt. Non-compliance benefits limited to 3 months. All right. And they're getting ready to start cutting off these gifts, man. Right? These gifts are getting ready to skedaddle. All right. And it also said that it was the other one was talking about with foster kids. All right. You know, that reminds me of Isaiah 10 and verse number 1. It says, woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. It says, Salakia, it says to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that the widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. All right. So now, you know, you see, right? You know, they're forcing everybody. All right. 18 to 64. All right. Hey, you know, if you mothers, right, your kids is over 14. Hey, now you want that benefit, you got to go get a job. All right. This is what's going on. All right. You got to volunteer 80 hours. All right. I think it's a month or something, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Let's keep playing. Fair use, fair use.
If you don't meet this requirement, your SNAP benefits could be limited to just 3 months within a 3-year period. In addition to that, to the new SNAP eligibility requirements, Indiana took it a step further. Their Smart SNAP program also limits what SNAP users can buy, banning candy and sugary drink purchases. So we're talking here about chocolate bars, gummies, hard candies, along with sodas, sports drinks, even energy drinks. Those are just some of the examples. The state says these restrictions were put into place to encourage healthier eating habits. Now, when it comes to those with disabilities,
right? So, hey, now they're even limited what you can get. All right. Hey, the gifts are going away. All right. The gifts are going away. You know, hey, this is turning it up. Okay. Let's keep playing fair use, fair use.
you will need a medical certification proving a mental or physical challenge to be exempt from these new rules. Again, they are officially in place as of today, and coming up in the next half hour, we'll show you where you can find assistance if you no longer qualify for the SNAP program. Again, that's in the next half hour.
All right. So you see, all right, there, or all this big beautiful bill. All right, now you're seeing what's in it. All right, you're seeing what's truly in it, and now everybody's gonna feel that effect. All right, they're gonna feel the effects of this big beautiful bill that was thrown together. All right, and there's more other things too that that are that are with it. All right. So let's read this again. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people." It says that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Okay? And these decrees, these laws that they've written, and that you see they're only set up, and you saw the other video, it said that it's going to certain immigrants are not going to be they're not going to be able to access these benefits. All right, but they didn't specify. They just said it. All right, they didn't specify in the last one. They just said certain immigrant groups who are here legally will not be able to qualify, all right, for these services. All right, so you got to read between the lines, man. Right, you see what's going on. All right, but this is, Babylon the Great, right? This is Egypt. Okay, let's get this. This is Isaiah chapter 31 and verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on their horses and trust in the chariots," right? And that's what our people have done, right? They're putting their trust in Egypt, all right? Babylon the Great, aka America. They're putting their trust in this place, thinking that, this place is for them, all right? That this place will, is going to help them out, all right? And we see that that's not the case, all right? When we go to the book of Lamentations, right? I bought this out at camp. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse number 17. It says, "As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help, and our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us." All right. And you see, all right, you see what they're doing. All right. They want everybody working, right? People work, people bring in taxes. Taxes is money. All right. Control. All right. You see, they're tightening up the control of this stuff. Okay. Look at, you could be a veteran. Who cares? Right? You're no longer exempt. Okay? You're no longer exempt. Now you're homeless. Hey, you want some food stamps? You better get a job. Right? This is this is Babylon the Great. This is Egypt. Okay? This is modern day Egypt. All right, it says Isaiah chapter 31 and verse number 1, it says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and to stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel." It says, "Neither seek Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi," right? And that's what our people don't do, right? Our people will rather, rely on their oppressors, all right, and they get so dependent on them. They get so dependent on the gifts that they get them. And ultimately, what are they writing? They're writing them out of these, out of these gifts. All right. While you was distracted by your holidays, and you was trying to figure out, if you was gonna get your benefits for your folly day, Thanksgiving and all that stuff, right? They was trying to pass this bill, all right, that's gonna regulate and have you, out there now, right? You you think about it, all right, and it's gonna adversely affect you, a lot of you, a lot of Eve too, especially this with Eve, all right. Now and then they're controlling what you can get with it, before hey, you could have got whatever you wanted, All right. But now they're limited, and that's in certain states. Best believe that's going to be happening in all states. That's gonna be a push. All right. It says, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. It says, now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit. All right, because we ultimately know, hey, these top banking families, they want to be like the Most High. All right, they want to be like the Most High. What is that? And they want to control the people. All right, and this is just them tightening their grips of controlling the people. When you think about it, right? 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse number 4 says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. All right, that's what they ultimately, their complex is. They have that God complex where they think, they want to control everybody. And so what they're doing, they're creating these laws, all right, to put tighter grips upon people. Okay, limiting everybody, right? And we want to see everything you're doing. Oh, you're not just gonna get this. Oh, nope, you're gonna have to work for it. All right, or you're gonna have to show some type of medical, issue. All right, and even then, who knows? Will they pass that? All right, or will they accept that from you? They'll say, oh, nothing's wrong with you. Go ahead and get out there, right? Because ultimately, the tighter grips they have on you, it's going to be easier when they implement Revelation 13, 16, and 17. All right. It's going to be a whole lot easier, because you're already, wound in, right? Close. Okay. Isaiah chapter 31 again, it says, now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is helped shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. All right. So those who want to go to Egypt for help, hey, you're gonna fall, right? Because ultimately you put too much trust and faith, in Egypt, right? And Esau and these you know, that what when they do this, and then when they implement the Revelation 13, 16, right, the charagma, right, you're going to fall right into that trap, right, because you don't want to lose that gift. You don't want to lose, the gift destroyed the heart, right? Now you're like, no, I got to have that, right? So now you're willing to do anything. They telling you you're homeless, go get a job. All right, the kids are hey, go get a job if you want this. All right, so guess what? Now, if you really want this, guess what? Guess what you're gonna have to take? You're gonna have to take that RFIC hip. Okay, you're gonna have to take that charagma. All right, so you see, how they're writing these things and they're closing in the gate. All right, they chapped everybody in the fence. And now they're trying to close the fence on everybody and get them closer. All right. So you see what's going on, man. All right. And hey, these gifts, hey, they're drying up. All right. Unless you conform and do what they ask you to do. All right. They already said, hey, it'll be 3 months. All right. So, hey, it's more push to that plan of closing that fence up. All right. Because ultimately, they're going to try to push everybody down that road to Revelation 13, 16. Okay? Because if you want these benefits, they're testing it out now. All right? Because ultimately, let me go. Revelation 13 and verse number 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. All right? So just think about it now. So you got your, you have to have a job. You have to work a certain amount of time, all right, to get these benefits, right, to get this SNAP. All right. Now they have that eye over you. They know what's going on, what you're doing, your income. Okay. And now guess what? It's gonna be easier, when pushing, all right, this prophecy here. All right. So you gotta be aware, be awake, be alert. Okay. So I just wanted to do this quick lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying. All right. But with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad, a mighty shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect in the household of faith, man. Stay diligent, stay focused. Put your trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right? Because, hey, this devil, he knows that he has a short time. All right? And he's going to do as much as he can to try to force your hand. All right? But you have to have the faith and the patience. All right? What is that? Revelation 3 and 11. Those who kept the patience, I will keep you from the hour of temptation. All right? That great temptation is this, Revelation 13, 16, and 17. All right? And they're slowly rallying in. They're pulling that net that they've thrown out wide. Now they're pulling that net in and they're bringing it closer and closer to them. All right? And these are just certain steps getting you closer to it. All right? So with that, we say a ball, and shalom.